Frequency 1138 is all clear and clanker free. This is Clone Army Radio.
What is up, Clone Army? Happy New Year. We are back from, I should say, a tiny break. And as per Huge, I am Fives, and he is Fours, Quattros, Human Cyborg Relations, CT4444. What else you got?
I gotta go. Pew, 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 pew. Fours life.
Nice. The man with a mini name.
Very much so.
Man. So what's up, Fours? How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's?
Oh, great! I don't know if you saw on the Twitter, since we got a new Twitter now.
Yeah.
I posted my Christmas gifts. I got the Star Wars book and a Mandalorian puzzle, and hopefully pretty soon the New Republic book, or is that what it's called?
The High Republic?
The High Republic, yes.
Oh, yeah. Did you pre-order that, or?
I think it's pre-ordered, yes. I asked for it for Christmas, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah, see, I pre-ordered it. I thought it was supposed to release on January 6th.
Right.
Or 5th. And I pre-ordered it, and it's Amazon said January 12th I would have it. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh.
Yeah, so I do have an in with somebody that I should have the audiobook sooner than I'll have the hardcover. So I'll be listening to it hopefully the day before or the day of its release.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to spoil it. I think I want to actually read it. You know what I mean? Give me some vibes. Reading the book, I think I kind of want to give me some Heir to the Empire vibes or something to it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep me excited about a different medium.
Absolutely. Just keep an eye on some of the other Star Wars shows, because I don't think anyone has actually spoiled anything yet, but a couple that I listened to have mentioned that they're allowed to talk about it now. So, and they're both usually really good about saying, hey, we're going to talk about this for a little bit, so fast forward to here or whatever. So that's cool. But just keep an eye out. If you start hearing High Republic topics, you might want to, pause or turn it off or whatever, because, yeah, you don't want to get it spoiled. I was thinking, it might take us different amounts of time to get through the book, but at some point I think we should definitely discuss it once we're done.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's all brand new stuff and all brand new era and brand new characters and brand new conflicts and storylines. So I'm really interested in I was almost wondering if the comic books are out. Do you know if the comic books are out or not?
I actually just hit up the comic book guy at Comics Argo in Sheffield.
Yeah.
I hit him up to save me, the first one. I think it's the 6th. Whatever next Wednesday is the first comic book for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hit him an email and I was just like, hey, can you hold one for me? And I'll come and pick it up that day. And he was like, absolutely. So
that's awesome. Good hookup.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good over there. So yeah, I don't know if the comic book follows I think it follows a different story from the novel. I think they're all obviously connected. It's all one big, High Republic thing, but I think they follow different storylines maybe. I'm not totally sure. I'm going in blind, kind of like,
right.
Back in the day with all the EU stuff. I'm just going in and taking out of it whatever I can.
Sounds good. Sounds like fun. Sounds like the way you should go in is completely, blindsided by everything.
Absolutely. I mean, that's pretty much, other than like I think two things for all of season 2 of The Mandalorian. I had no idea what was coming, and it was so much better that way.
Absolutely.
So you got the Star Wars book, you got a Mandalorian puzzle, and what was the other?
Oh, the High Republic's, pre-ordered.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So yeah, I think I showed you some of the Star Wars stuff. Also, I think I threw it on our Twitter. Everybody check out our Twitter at Clone Army Radio. We're on there now, so you know what to do.
Yeah. We're gaining followers like crazy.
Right? Get us to 200.
Yes.
So yeah, I got Red 5, the X-Wing vintage collection toy.
Nice.
I was Mrs. Fives hooked it up.
You were like one X-Wing? That's it?
Yeah, right. Great, we're saved.
My Christmas is saved.
Yeah, it was funny too how she did it too, because I opened stuff that I got from her and the kids, and then she walked away and she comes back out with this box that's wrapped, and I'm like, oh wait, what's this? And she like sets it in front of me, and that was the X-Wing. I was like, no way.
What is this? An X-Wing for ants?
So I got that. I got the Art of the Mandalorian book, which I've been looking through each day. It's really cool.
Did they show like the end of the episode art? Is that?
That I'm not sure. I'm just going like from page one through. So far I've seen like the art of Mithril, the blue guy, and like a couple of pages of them talking, in paragraphs, like talking about how they started designing these characters.
Very cool.
And then also I think the last one I read, it was either that was the last one I read or looked at, or it was the Razor Crest and how they came about making that. And gosh, I want to say it was the A10 jet.
Warthog?
Yeah, the Warthog. Thank you. Yeah. That was what Jon Favreau.
Oh, like. Yeah, I can see that.
It's just like it's slight. There's like two little things on it that, from the progression of the A10 to the Razor Crest. I always want to call it the Razor Quest. I don't know why. The Razor Quest.
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah. But yeah, like it shows like the progressions of how they made that. And I don't know, so far it's a really cool book. And then I got the Darth Maul trade book that's got like all the volumes of the Son of Dathomir story. And I actually just finished reading that like an hour ago. It's awesome. It really like if I'm remembering correctly, it was supposed to be part of the Clone Wars series, but then I think that was when Disney canceled the Clone Wars. Like they bought Lucasfilm and they were like, yeah, Clone Wars, adios, and but the story, you can see bits of the story in the oh gosh, what did they call the last 4 episodes of the season 7? The Mandalore.
The Siege of Mandalore.
Siege of Mandalore. So you see a few hints of the Son of Dathomir stuff in there. It's not exactly the same, but it's got some elements to it. Really cool comic book. I recommend picking it up. It was a quick read. I enjoyed it.
Okay. So it's like a graphic novel then or something?
Yeah, it's like, well, how they like, I think it's, usually like the first 4 to 6 comic books they combined in like the trade book.
Yeah, like a volume.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
Cool.
And, it was awesome. I really liked it.
That's how I read the Walking Dead's in that like 6 volume like edition.
Right.
So very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's more like you're reading a book instead of, the usual 26 to 28 pages. You get like 50 pages. Very cool.
Yeah, regular comic book just doesn't do it for me anymore. I need that 6 comic book little issue. So,
right. Did I get that? That's another one that I still need to read is The Rise of Kylo Ren. I think it was only like 3 books, but I didn't want to read the first one until I had all of them. And I think I read the first one and then I just never, I don't know. you know me and the sequels. It's like, oh, I want to read this, and then I'm like, but do I?
Right.
Very cool. So I guess today we're just gonna do. I know we said we were going to do like a recap of season 2, but I think this is just kind of more of like us, you know, highlighting. Well, I guess it's still sort of a recap. Us highlighting, you know, the things that stood out to us in season 2. And I mean, are you ready for this, man?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So we're gonna start with for season 2. What was your favorite episode?
My favorite episode was the episode titled "The Tragedy."
Yes.
Chapter 14, directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Very good. What made that one your favorite? What about it?
I think the return of Boba Fett and his awesomeness. You know what I mean? And all the fighting, the battle scenes, and everything. You know, the baby connecting with the Jedi, and you know, Fennec Shand ripping it up. Mandalorian kind of like, you know, not really being the hero here. It's just kind of like another soldier kind of taking out some bad guys. I think the introduction of the what are the super bots called?
Oh, the Dark Troopers.
The Dark Troopers, right.
Yeah.
The introduction of the Dark Troopers and what they can do or how they look or how they operate, which is cool. And the big moment is, you know, the big tragedy of the Razor Crest getting blown to the bits, you know, rest in pieces, Razor Crest.
Gosh darn it.
I just think that moment, yeah, seriously. I know, I feel your pain. I think that moment, that event just resonated with me the most, how they could just, you know, eliminate basically what turned out to be like a character almost of his ship. So, I mean, there wasn't like a real character didn't die this season, you know, but I think his ship did. And I think that, to me, was one of the most outstanding moments. And I felt the most at that moment throughout the entire series. So.
Right. You know, what's funny is, it's funny to say this, but the look on Din's helmet.
You went over my helmet?
When the ship got blown up. Like, obviously it's just a helmet, but you could feel the, oh my gosh, what just happened? Yeah.
Exactly. You could feel it. I could feel it.
Yeah.
Also, that my favorite shot is in that episode where they're coming in, they're flying in, and they're looking at the temple. I talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in there, and you know, I just rewatched it, and I still love that shot, and I still love the feeling of flying and how they captured and how they were able to pull it off. And I don't know, I just think it's a great episode, and it's my favorite of it was hard to pick because, you know,
right.
so many reveals. I mean, at that point, you know, the Bo-Katan episode was my favorite, and then, you know, how could I pass up Ahsoka? But I just thought like the entire episode was just rock solid and amazing, and I think it stands, you know, head and shoulders above the rest, in my opinion.
Right on. Know. I think a couple of things just off the top of my head that stand out from that one is when you see Slave One rolling onto the screen.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that was one of those dank ferricking moments. You know, where I'm just like, what?
Is that another scud in the scud pile? Oh man.
You know, so there was that, and then, you know, the reveal of not really the reveal. Watching Boba Fett use that gaffy stick, just annihilating stormtroopers, and the music in the background, and I'm just like, man, this is like intense. It looks cool. The looks on Tamura Morrison's face, like he's just like, just it was great. And then you know, another moment that, you know, I just rewatched all but the first episode because I had already watched it last night. I rewatched the whole season.
Okay.
And And the one part that really got me going was when Fennec Shand is getting surrounded, right? By all the stormtroopers, and the look on her face, she's just like, oh, this is not going to go well. And then the music picks up, and Mando's there using his whistling birds, and he's like, all right, let's move in, and he stands in front of her, and he's shooting, and she's behind, taking cover behind his Beskar, and I'm just like, this is sweet, and then and then in that same spot, you see the detonator drop, and you're like, oh man, and you see Boba drop down from the jetpack, and then you just like, it's mostly what I noticed this time is it's mostly focused on him, in that spot, which it should be, because he's, this is Boba putting his armor back on, and this is his moment. So you see him just like taking people down, but then in the background you still see Mando and Fennec. They're still blasting away and covering each other's backs, and I'm like, this is a really cool trio, man. I hope we see more of them, those three, working together at some point, because it was really cool, and they're all really awesome characters.
Yeah, all three of them. I'm starting to like Fennec Shand a lot more. She's she's coming on strong and carrying her own weight, and she's deadly with the blaster, or probably anything. She's got karate moves or martial arts moves as well. So I think she's just as capable as these two, and I'm kind of intrigued. She's taking her vow of, now that she's kind of indebted to Boba Fett, she's taking it pretty close to her. I don't know. To me, she doesn't seem like she's up to something, but I know you said that she is. But
I still kind of get that vibe, but I don't think it was anything with Boba. I thought it was more like I was expecting them to betray Din at some point this season, and I'm glad that they didn't.
Yeah,
I'm glad. Just kind of the way she was like making her expressions, I guess that put me on that path. Dude, I don't know. For me, I had a hard time too picking a favorite episode. And really, it it could be any of them at any moment. Just kind of like the movies. My favorite movie kind of changes a lot too. But it came down to the very first episode and the very last episode for me.
Okay.
I think I'll just quickly, we kind of talked about the last episode just recently, so I won't go through too much of that. But for the first one, a lot of it was just the Western. It had such a Western feel to it that I really just kind of, even just this last time watching it, I was so immersed and like them riding the banthas in that long line through the dune sea, sand dune sea, and the music that played. Like you had brought up the music, when we were doing our after shows, how it was like a slower version of the Mando theme when they're going through the desert, the it slowed down, and I don't know, it really grabbed me. The downside, I think, this time around of watching that episode though was I was not really sold on Timothy Oliphant at all. Like he just no, he didn't work for me this time. Not, I'm sure he works for some people, whatever. But just this time, I'm like, I don't know. He just seemed like too smirky, kind of like, oh, I'm in a Star Wars show. He didn't. I don't know. The first time through, I was like, this guy's cool. This time I'm like, he is what he is, whatever.
Mainly because you've seen like bigger characters come out of the shadows, like Bo-Katan, and we got to see Cara Dune some more, and
I think that could have something to do with it.
Yeah,
but he just, I don't know. He still looked he looked awkward in Boba's armor, but he looked cool at the same time. Like I was like, the part where he's telling a story about how he came back to save the town in that armor, and he walks into the cantina, looks at the Weequay guy, and kind of it's like, get out of here. He nods at him, and he takes out those the mining guild guys. I'm like, that's still, to me, that's really cool. That's very old Western film feeling. So I don't know if I would say that first episode is my favorite, but those things really like kept the tone that they've been shooting for this series, you know, the very westerny samurai style. And it's, you know, when I think of this season, a lot of times in my head I see the banthas, you know, them all riding the banthas with the village people and the Tusken Raiders, and Mando with Grogu, you know, chilling in the little side pouch of the bantha. And like, it's a really, that whole section is just very memorable, I guess, for me. And then the last episode, that one's just, I don't know, it's really good.
You like
a
it,
lot
huh?
of reasons. Yeah. And I mean, if we want to go into that a little bit, I guess one thing is, I think it was a year or two ago, I tried reading, or I should say listening to Heir of the Empire, the Thrawn trilogy, and I wasn't feeling it. Like, obviously I love it. It's, you know, one of my favorite stories, but this time around I'm just like, I don't know. I think for me, the sequel trilogy just made me not interested in the EU of the old, because it's, you know, back then it was a possibility that we could see it happen. And then the sequel trilogy was like, nope, this is how the story is. And
shut the door.
Yeah, and it kind of just ruined the EU a little bit for me. But this episode, well, first of all, obviously we saw the Dark Troopers a couple episodes before the last one, but this episode you see the Empire, you see Dark Troopers, you see our group of heroes, and then you see Luke Skywalker the way he should have been at that point, you know?
Right.
And I don't know, it made me more excited, I guess, for what they could do now. And it also, I just started listening to Heir of the Empire like 2 days ago, and I'm totally hooked, like I was the first time I read it.
Good.
And I think it's because of what they did with Luke. What we've seen Luke on screen since Disney took over, since Star Wars, you know, came back, is we've seen old, obviously Mark Hamill has aged, whatever, but, you know, we see old Luke, we saw grumpy, you know, miserable Luke Skywalker, legend, you know, just this bitter, angry, it really, you know,
not the Luke we were,
it wasn't the Luke we wanted. It wasn't the Luke that Mark Hamill wanted. Not that he's in charge of Star Wars, but he is in so many ways Luke Skywalker. So it was like, this sucks, you know? But then you see that X-Wing come in, you see R2 on it, and you see the cloak and the lightsaber, all that stuff. And then he takes the hood off, and little CGI, de-aging, whatever. It doesn't look perfect, but it was good enough. But for me, I'm just like, okay, this makes sense. One, because this is how he should have been at that point.
Yeah.
Two, he's technically the only Jedi around at that point. And three, this opens a door. You know, you mentioned it. This opens a door for maybe they can tell these stories, not necessarily the same as the EU, but they can tell these stories that we kind of grew up with, I guess, in a different way, and maybe even lead up to that grumpy Luke in The Last Jedi, to where it won't be so terrible, because you'll be like, oh my gosh, we just saw all this stuff that, you know, went from Return of the Jedi to The Last Jedi. And it's like, okay, now I get why he's like this.
Yeah.
You know, I think that, you know, I know there's rumors running around that, you know, there's the possibility of them kind of rewriting, you know, the sequel trilogy or wiping it out or whatever. But this episode might be the beginning of connecting those stories.
Right.
And I think that could be really cool.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think you could have some pretty good adventures and everything, but I mean, it all leads to a pretty, you know, bad end. So, I mean, it could be great to see, you know, everything, you know, him gathering up his students and finding a place, and then starting to train, and then Jedi Academy situation where a student goes bad, and how he deals with it all. But ultimately, we kind of know where the story is going, so it's not going to really shock us or anything, or keep us too on our toes. So
Yeah.
I think if they do end up doing this, then it's pretty much, the hope is that maybe they do kind of change things for the better.
Mhm.
So that would be where I'm coming from, but it's all good.
Yeah.
I see the optimism in your in your outlook, and the pessimism in my outlook, I guess.
I mean, all in all, I guess it really just kind of re-energized me for Star Wars, which is weird because I'm always, all in. But,
Yeah.
for Star Wars and for the EU, like it makes me feel like the EU is still something that can be out there somewhere.
That's cool.
And yeah, and even like, I mean, it's not just Luke too. There's Grand Admiral Thrawn's out there.
Yeah, that's the most exciting part, I think, because I mean, if they're doing Luke, I have to admit, the first time I watched the last episode here, I mean, you could kind of tell it was a body double.
Yeah,
and that kind of took me out of it a little bit. And then the CGI wasn't the best. I mean, it'll only get better, but I think I would have probably have believed it a little bit more if they would have just done the Han Solo thing and gotten an actor to play the part, instead of
really
de-age it. Yeah, I think that's because then I'd be more excited as far as like future stories, because it's going to keep being a combination of a body double and then face reconstruction, which
but see, I think if they're, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think if they're going to like do more Luke Skywalker stuff live action, I think they will find an actor. I don't think that they're going to keep doing like a CGI Luke with body doubles, because I think that's a lot more work than they want to put into it. I just think that for this particular episode, say he took the hood off and it was an entirely different actor
and it said, "I'm Luke Skywalker,"
I would have been like, huh? I would have been like, this is that's for me. That would have taken me out of it big time. Like the Han Solo thing works because that's like younger Han Solo,
right?
But this, yeah, I don't know. I would have been like, that was dumb. Why did they do that?
Well, because then for sure you got more coming down the line, and you got an actor lined up, and this is kind of like his first appearance, and you get ready to see more. I don't know. So.
I see where you're coming from, but I think that, like I said, I think that would have taken me out of it. I'm totally fine with them saying, hey, we're gonna do a Luke Skywalker series or whatever, and here's your here's the guy that's gonna play him. And then you'd probably see Mark Hamill going, oh, this guy's got my blessing, good luck.
Right.
Go for it. Kind of like Harrison Ford did with Alden Ehrenreich. I actually heard that he was on set with Alden, kind of talking to him about the Han Solo character, which I thought was really cool.
Nice.
I could totally see Mark Hamill doing something like that.
Oh yeah, and then you bring Mark Hamill on for a cameo or something, background.
Yeah,
Mark, like Stan Lee type of thing.
Right. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see where all that goes. I think if they are going to do any more Luke Skywalker stuff live action, then they're gonna have to figure out a way to do Han and Leia. They're gonna have to bring all that stuff in, which makes me excited because of the EU.
I got you. Yeah, there's so many good stories there.
Right.
So we'll find out, and then like to be having, like I think I texted you this before, is having a character of the magnitude of a Luke Skywalker, like Jedi hero, one of the only known Jedis in the universe, come in on coming out of nowhere and basically have screen time on a TV show, to me kind of hurt a little bit, hurt like his status to me, because I mean I see him more as like a top billing type of guy, and I think that draws in crowds galore, and so like to me I think those characters belong on the big screen is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So, but to bring him in, I mean they gave him an awesome fight scene. Can't take that away.
Mhm.
He turned those robots into butter, really.
Right.
And he crushed them and slammed them up against the wall and did all this great, lightsaber battle duel and everything. And I just think, like, if they were to do something with him, that I would like to see it be more of a movie than a TV show, because I think that's where he belongs.
Okay. Oh. All right. So,
Asking you, what's your favorite episode? The first one or the last one?
I didn't really answer that one, did I? I mean, out of those two, yeah, I'd have to go with the last one. Yeah. I think the last. I mean, really, the biggest reason, obviously, is my favorite character was in it. So well, I should say my second. Obviously, Obi-Wan's my favorite, but Luke is a very, very close second.
Very close second.
So that alone, but dude, like you were just talking about too, how he was destroying those dark troopers. That was such a cool scene. That took me back to like Anakin as Darth Vader in Revenge of the Sith, when he's in that room on Mustafar and he's taking out all the separatist leaders and stuff. And I know a lot of people have compared it to the Rogue One Vader.
Right.
I could see that. I also heard, I think it was my brother's wife said, yeah, because I texted my brother. I was like, he's totally fighting like his father before him, and my brother said that his wife said that he looks like he's fighting even better than Anakin. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that. Yeah. He was so like cool and calm. Like he was
fluid.
Yeah, like he was just a Jedi in the zone, man, which I'm reading Heir to the Empire again. I'm catching these parts of Luke just totally opening himself up to the Force and just letting the Force guide him. And that's what you see in those scenes with him with the lightsaber. And I'm like, man, I mean, regardless of just that episode, this whole series so far, Favreau and Filoni, man, keep it going.
Absolutely.
Not just because of the cameos, but the characters, the main characters of the series too. They're just, the characters are great. The storytelling is really great. I mean, the side quest stuff got a little stale, but you kind of forget about it the last couple episodes.
Yeah, it's just big events are happening that, that was necessary stuff, to get us where we're at. There's a little bit of struggle here and there. So,
geez, that's just our favorite episode. We got a few more things. Can
I ask you a quick question?
No. Go ahead.
You can answer it real fast. What was your least favorite episode?
Oh, the frog lady.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still this time through, I was just like, eh. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you finish.
I was just going to say, it doesn't suck. It's just the one that I check out every time I've watched it. I'm just like, what's on my phone?
All right.
How about you?
Mine was The Siege. I just think it was too fractured, two different episodes. So, like, I think it was, it was cool to see everyone come back together, but I just didn't feel like it was an entire episode. That, like from start to finish, like it just kind of had that change of pace in it went. So I don't know. I just
easily for the heroes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a prelude to my neck to when they do that, it's like that's when I give it lower grades.
Gotcha.
when I see the characters in danger and I can feel it, then that's when they get. So to me, The Passenger was a cool episode. I really liked it. So,
Okay. All right. So the next thing is, and this is kind of hard for me because I don't really remember all of my letter grades.
Yeah, same here.
But the next thing I wanted to do was the letter grade change, and for me it was The Believer. I can't remember. I thought that I gave that one a B-. I can't totally remember, but I watched it again like that day after we recorded, later on that day, and then I watched it again yesterday, and I guess I still feel like it's not a amazing episode or anything, but the acting tells a good story. Bill Burr's acting, Pedro Pascal without the helmet on was great. So I don't know. Like I think the one thing the one thing that I still don't like before I say what my new grade is, and this is just a reaction from other Star Wars fans, I guess, is a lot of people were actually saying they were excited to see the Empire come to the rescue of Bill Burr and or Mayfeld and Din, when the TIE fighters swoop in.
Yeah.
It was cool looking, but I'm on the side of I wasn't excited. These are still the bad guys, I'm like,
yeah.
I don't really blur the lines, I guess, like some people do. When it comes to Star Wars, I see the good and the evil. So that
you're like
just
a traditional Star Wars fan, like George Lucas style, like clear black, clear white.
I think so, which is funny because I'm kind of like you in the video games where I want to use the dark side powers and the light side. I'll zap you with lightning, but then I'll heal somebody else.
Yeah.
But I think I'm kind of that way. I don't get excited for the Empire. I mean, you got to think how many planets have they blown up?
Right.
How many billions of people have they just wiped from existence? So to like cheer when they come to the rescue, I'm like, nah. I mean, I've heard people say, oh, well,
good point.
Well, you're just seeing what, those guys have family. Those soldiers have families or whatever. Maybe I didn't think stormtroopers had families. I thought they were brainwashed to just be stormtroopers, but they have things they get excited about or whatever, and they're just fighting, they're just pawns in a war for somebody else. And I mean, I get all that, but I thought it was cool that they saved the hero. Bill Burr's not necessarily a hero. They saved Mando, I guess, so that was cool.
They didn't know it was Mando. They thought it was one of theirs.
Right. But all in all, that episode I liked the acting. The part that you crack up about cracks me up. The guy with his lunch tray, like, man, I was just coming in here to eat. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And I like how it ends too with Bill Burr. Or I keep getting into character here. Mayfeld. Shoots that canister to blow that whole facility up. Like he's like, that's almost him washing himself clean of the Empire.
Right.
Which I thought was cool. And Cara Dune and Din, agreed. Yeah, let's let him go. He's not such a bad guy. And I thought that was good. So I bumped my grade up to an A.
Nice.
I'd say it was an A episode. Overall, it was cool, and the end, obviously, with the coming to get you Murdoch part, that really like that tells you, okay, this is gonna get crazy next episode.
I'm just going to make it quick and say I agree with you, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to give that episode an A for the same reasons. Everything you said. Ditto. Next.
Nice, very cool.
Yeah, that episode definitely grew on me as I learned about from other podcasts and other retellings and watching the gallery and everything, and it just kind of grew on me. So definitely went from I think I did a B or something to an A. So keeps the streak alive, I think.
Nice. So did you watch the new gallery then?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I haven't watched it yet. Still, I actually just rewatched the first season of the gallery again. So
Oh,
because I thought it was very interesting. But yeah, I haven't watched the new one yet.
It's only one episode, so it's like a real quick. But they kind of, hang out on every episode.
Very cool. I actually made a side note of this really doesn't have anything to do with the stuff that we were going to talk about, but I wanted to tell you really, and anyone that cares, my most watched episodes of season 2. I've watched The Jedi 5 times. I've watched The Rescue 5 times. And I've watched The Tragedy 4 times, but I plan on watching it again.
Okay.
Because those 3 episodes were just huge. And then I think right behind that would be The Heiress. I think I've watched 3 times so far. So,
right. Too bad Heiress was so early in the season. Because, that episode was amazing, too. Like, I loved it. Just the fact that they throw the baby into that kind of like pit, that water pit. And that, I wasn't expecting that. So that's another one of those moments where I remember vividly in the season, the Razor Crest blown up, the baby getting thrown into the pit, Boba Fett back in the armor and kicking butt and stuff like that. Those are my highlight moments, I guess.
I like when the Quarren, he gets him to get the baby closer to the thing, and he's like, we didn't feed it today because we were too busy doing, and then he hits it like, like you said, he hockey pucks it right in.
Hockey pucks it right in there. That's great.
I actually cracked up this time because I know Baby Yoda's going to be, or Grogu's going to be okay, so I was laughing this time. I thought it was funny. Dude, all right, so favorite moment. Ugh. You're going to hate me for this one, so I'll let you go first.
My favorite moment of the series?
Oh, season 2, yeah.
Of the season 2. Oh man. That's tough that's a tough one. But it's gonna have to be the oh man. I just think the Boba Fett coming back. I'm a broken record, and coming back to his glory, or actually a glory that he's never really had on screen. So I think it's just the emergence of Boba Fett and doing his character justice. And I know I should be going with Luke stuff. I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking, but
not necessarily.
It wasn't as impactful to me. It was the Boba Fett stuff, and I can't go against what I'm feeling.
I think that the character is proving you wrong from like a few months ago when you were like, man, this guy's overrated. You know? And now we're seeing why he was so BA.
And I'm digging it.
Yeah. He's definitely, he's like, hey, fours, just keep watching.
I know they answered my question of the character, and they changed my mind, and I like that.
Right.
Whereas Luke, coming through, knocking people, knocking things around and shattering, you expect that from him. There's nothing new there. So
true.
That's how you expect Luke to go in and demolish everybody. Or everything. So there wasn't a shock and awe, I guess.
Very cool.
Okay. Your favorite moment?
I don't know. You got like 10 minutes?
you know what we're not talking about is Ahsoka. I don't know what's going on here.
Well,
she's not reaching our chart here, our award ceremony.
Our award ceremony. Well, she kind of does, because I struggled with this. I came up with these ideas, and I sent them to you, like a week and a half ago or something. I was like, what do you think? You want to talk about this stuff? And this one I struggled with even today. I'm like, dude, I don't know. So I have a list. As you can imagine, Luke to the Rescue is my first one. But do you know what my second one is?
Can I just comment on Luke to the Rescue real quick?
Go ahead.
How does he know to come in at that moment? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That to me is a little bit too much of the Deus Ex Machina thing. I think that's might be a big thing. It's like coming in at that moment, to save the day.
But it wasn't really at that moment. Think about the episode where Grogu reached out was the tragedy.
Yeah, I know
Then
they
you had-
set it up.
Well, but
Yeah.
then you had the believer, and then so they had to do all that, and then you had, that's when Grogu gets taken, and then you have the last episode. So where was Luke in the galaxy? He obviously knew he could sense Grogu now because Grogu reached out with the Force.
Right.
So he knows where to find him. How long, where was he in the galaxy? How long was it going to take him? He knew however long Grogu was on Gideon's ship, that ship wasn't going anywhere, so he knew where he had to go. I mean, I get it. Obviously, they had to time it that way. How else would it have worked? I mean, Luke can't show up when they're all eating soup. It's got to be an impactful moment.
It does. It does. It's just.
I just think that it may have taken him a little bit of time to get there.
Right.
But do you want to guess what my other favorite moment is? Should be
Ahsoka?
easy. No.
No.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Okay, good.
Boba Fett. Yeah, I have Ahsoka as my third.
Okay.
But I do have I don't know. We could talk about that stuff all the time. I did bring up Ahsoka, or I wanted to bring up Ahsoka, I should say, because of what she says to Mando when she's like, I want you to try this, with the rock, to see if Grogu will take the rock. And he says something about Grogu doesn't listen to him and says whatever. And he's like, well, that would be a first. And Ahsoka's like, I like firsts, good or bad, they're always memorable. Mm-hmm. And to me, that is such an Ahsoka thing to say. The way Rosario Dawson delivered the line, it took me to the Clone Wars just hearing Ahsoka talk, and it's true, good or bad, they're always memorable. I don't know, I think that line was like, okay, Ahsoka is live action, this is awesome. And then when he goes, all right, kid, get the rock, and she goes right up to where Mando's ear would be, and she goes, Grogu. Grogu, that's his name. Say his name, and it's still, again, it's another, just something that Ahsoka would do, I guess. And the look on her face when she says it, I'm like, man, this is Ahsoka. This is who I watched, 7 seasons of, and some of Rebels. Not to spoil anything, but
yeah.
So yeah, I just that was another favorite moment. I have a ton, but I'll just leave it at those 3.
Right. That's cool. I think Ahsoka definitely needs to get mentioned as far as something favorite in this. She's, she didn't really do what we thought she was going to do. She just kind of pulled a little Luke on us. Luke from The Last Jedi, where, I'm not going to do what you think I'm going to do.
Right.
So she's kind of, playing that role in this series. So that's why I think she's taking a third. But I think that's a respectable order. Probably more of a genuine, Luke being the first, Boba Fett, and then Ahsoka, and then probably Bo-Katan at this point. And then Frog Lady, and then Coral, or what's his name? The guy, the bluefish guy.
Does he have a name? I don't know. Always, I've always just heard of him as Mythrol. I thought that was his race.
Right. Yeah. Mythrol. And then, maybe he's at the bottom, and Casca Greaves, is that his name?
The Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks, and then
Grief Karga.
Grief Karga, and I'm sure it goes in that order.
Yeah. Don't forget Fennec Shand.
Yeah, she's a little higher. And one last one. What's his Timothy Oliphant's character again?
Oh, Cobb Vanth.
Cobb Vanth, right?
He was pretty. I don't know. He's a pretty cool character.
Yeah, he was cool. Yeah, he was definitely cool. Cool cat.
All right, so up next, were there any in any episode of this season? Were there any telling signals of what's going to come next? Any
for the future?
No. For this season, anything in the first episode that you were like, oh, this is going to happen at some time this year, or in the third or fourth.
Yeah, well, Boba Fett kind of walking out into the into this into the, kind of like into the shot as Mando's leaving Tatooine.
Mhm.
But saying that now, I thought there's no way he's coming back, and that's why I was so shocked to see him, in the tragedy episode. So,
Right.
but now thinking back, yeah, that was kind of like a sign, and then them talking about the Last Jedi, Ahsoka talking about very few of us left, very few Jedi left. Like, okay, there's Luke, of course, the obvious choice, and then there's Leia. Well, she's not really a true Jedi though. That went through any kind of Jedi training. She's got the Force, but not like a true Jedi. And then that's about it. So they didn't really give you much to play on there.
Right. Yeah, and I wondered, saying that, I wonder if Ahsoka at that point knows who Luke is, or if they don't know each other yet, or if they won't ever know each other. Because I don't think she could have known that Grogu was going to reach out to Luke.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully they don't know each other yet, because I would love to see a situation where Luke and Ahsoka meet, because then Ahsoka could learn from Luke's, Anakin's son, that Anakin kind of was redeemed at the end, and she could probably tell Luke some stories about his father before he was a Sith, which would be kind of interesting.
It'll blow his mind.
Right. The only thing I can think of that really, like, and it didn't even happen at the time that I watched it. This was like a couple times after watching this. Well, no, I don't even know. I don't think my thoughts went to this spot until the last episode. And that was when Boba says his line, I'm a simple man trying to make my way in the galaxy, like my father before me. And I'm like, when he says, like my father before me, Grogu's reaching out with the Force to find a Jedi. So was that them saying, hey, Luke is coming? Because it's Luke's line from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, I didn't pick up on that. Like, I picked up on the like my father before me line. We talked about it. We thought it was funny that he said that and all of that, but it never occurred to me that, there's a little foreshadowing there of, Luke Skywalker's on his way.
Yeah, no, that's good thinking, that's great pickup you got. I think you nailed it on the head there. I think that's exactly what they were doing. Talking about, don't be surprised if, other characters that have used this line show up, because,
right.
We're not above that. Which we find out.
Right. Our favorite actor cameo or return.
Okay.
And this was actor, not character. So
yes.
So what do you got? What do you got for that?
Rosario Dawson. This is perfect.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I was totally like psyched that that's a big actress to come in and to take a role like this. And then, to find out that she's going to have her own show. This is going to be great. I think she, she's done Marvel. She's done characters there. You know what I mean? She's been in a bunch of stuff. And then for her to make her appearance and her to have the episode that she had, and they, did a little Kill Bill Volume 2 type of, showdown at the end and
right.
made it a seamless transition between the cartoon and the live actor. So I think this was she was definitely my favorite actor to come in and take care of business.
Very cool.
Yeah.
For me, it's in the same episode. Michael Biehn.
Oh yeah.
I love that guy, dude. He was awesome as Johnny Ringo and Kyle Reese. Those are like I know he was in other stuff like Aliens and stuff, but those are the characters that stood out for me. And like, like I brought up when he's in his little showdown with Dan, and he's like, I always mix the lines now because they're so similar from that episode to Tombstone. And he's like, he says something like, my quarrel isn't with you, Mandalorian. And I'm like, it just takes me back to when in Tombstone when Doc Holliday shows up instead of Wyatt Earp, and Johnny Ringo says a similar line. My fight isn't with you, Holliday. And I don't know. It takes me back to that. And
some good callbacks. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. Michael Biehn, I don't know. He's he's just a good actor, and he fits in anything I've seen him in. So like as soon as I saw him standing next to I can't remember the lady's name now. The lady that Ahsoka fights. And I saw Michael Biehn, and I'm like, no way.
The magistrate? Is that her
Yeah,
name?
the magistrate.
Yeah.
I was like, it's Johnny Ringo. So
I did not know until afterwards. So more power to you for catching that.
Right on. So that was, I guess, for me, that was my favorite one. Just my most memorable, I guess, actor cameo.
That's a good one.
Yes. And then, so then we jump into favorite character.
Yes. Favorite character of this season. I'm jumping all over this. It has to be Bo-Katan. Just the way Katie Sackhoff plays her, and to see her back was exciting, and all the action sequences, just the way she holds her the two guns, the two like pistols, and she holds one just like right a little bit behind the other one. I don't know if you noticed that. Like I cannot stop like that little bit of like extra, Clone Wars-esque type of action and stance is just, it just does it for me every time. I cannot stop looking at it. I just think it's awesome. And whenever she talks, it's awesome. So to me, she looks the part. I mean, it's like uncanny how they nailed the live actor and the cartoon character. So that was my favorite character of the season.
Very cool. Katie Sackhoff's awesome, man. I'm glad to see her in another one of my favorites.
Right?
She was in Battlestar. Now she's in Star Wars. I mean, she was in Star Wars in the Clone Wars, but physically in it now, and it's like, yeah, I love it. For me, I bet you won't expect me to pick this character. I just feel like you won't.
Fennec Shand.
Well, I did make a two-parter because I love Fennec Shand. She's my favorite female character in this season.
Okay.
That was a tough one to pick, to be honest. But I don't know. Just watching her kick butt and her acting skills, like she's great. But
she is great. Yeah.
I went with Din Djarin as my favorite character.
Oh, of course.
I love watching this character grow. He's a BA fighter, but that's not all he is. He gets beat up. He keeps getting back up. No matter how hard he gets put down, he gets back up.
Right.
He puts himself in harm's way to protect others without even thinking about it. A couple spots that come to mind. The one I brought up with Fennec Shand. He's her shield while they're fighting.
Right.
In the episode, was it the Heiress with Bo-Katan? And they're like, they got to get to the cockpit of that ship, and he just arms those two grenades, and he's like, cover me. And he just runs into all of that blaster fire.
Selfless.
Yeah, he's selfless. And then in the first season, I know we're talking about season 2, but in the first season, as soon as he gives Grogu to the Empire, he knew he was doing something bad. He knew it was wrong. He even asked the client, what are you going to do with him? And it's against his code to ask that question, but he asked anyways. The only other part I was going to say, you see him start out the series as, a bounty hunter. I can bring you in warm, I could bring you in cold. He's just, I'm doing my job, I'm making my money.
He's a machine at that point, yeah.
Right. To the last episode, the one thing a lot of people don't seem to be talking about in the rescue is his connection with Grogu, and him saying goodbye to him, goodbye for now. I don't think it's goodbye forever, but he turned into a father to this kid and
completed the quest. Sure.
Yeah.
Turning into a dad.
Right. And he's like, don't be afraid. And, just trying to
Right.
get Grogu to be okay with leaving, and
He's kind of sending him off to college, really.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Totally. He just, I don't know. Pedro Pascal is amazing. I'm just gonna say it. He makes this show with his voice work, and now we get to see his face a couple times, and I don't know. I really like the growth of this character, and I picked him because of those reasons, and I also picked him because I think that the show is called The Mandalorian, and he kind of takes a backseat a lot to Baby Yoda or Grogu, and to the cameos of these characters.
Cameos, man.
And I mean, I think they're handling the cameos really well. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but this character is big time, in my opinion. He's big time in Star Wars. Like you were saying, how you see, a guy like Luke Skywalker should be on the big screen.
Yeah,
I could see them throwing Din Djarin on the big screen at some point. I think he could handle like a full length feature is what I was looking for. I think this character is huge in just 2 years.
Yeah, I just hope something like that happens. I just hope they don't kill him off.
I know.
That'd be kind of like the easy way to go.
Right.
You build them up just to tear them down, type of thing.
Hopefully they don't do that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, he'd probably need some help. Bring in some big time players too. Like in a movie adaptation of the show. But yeah, at this point, absolutely, he could carry a movie.
Yeah,
he's got 16 episodes, so
right.
He's got some. They built him up.
Pretty much 2 movies there, but
more.
Yeah, I think that character deserves attention, because he's new, and he's on a show with people like Bo-Katan and Ahsoka and Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker, like
heavy hitters, man.
Yeah, like some of the heaviest hitters, and I don't know. I like him. I'm sold. He's one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
Okay. That's good stuff.
So we got 2 more things, Fours, and I think I already said this next one, was there anything revealing what next season of The Mandalorian would be like? And I think I had said, we're going to see stuff about Mandalore, the Darksaber.
Yeah, I think that's
Dan and Bo-Katan.
Yep, I think that's coming. Them taking back the planet. Obviously Din going car shopping. Starship shopping. For a new starship or spaceship. I'm sorry. Maybe a visit or 2 to the Jedi Temple. I don't know. It might be a little early for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They didn't really give you much to chew on except for the Mandalore stuff. Obviously, Boba Fett and Fennec Shand are going to be doing their own thing on their own show, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're not talking about that. So he's going to maybe, I don't know, maybe intro the Rangers on the show, season 3. There's not really like a big bad, and maybe they find out some information from Moff Gideon that there's somebody even more terrifying out there, and maybe that's what this Thrawn guy is all about. So maybe we see an intro of Thrawn come in, and that'd be cool.
I think that would make the most sense. I still don't see Gideon as, I think I did say it at one point that I thought he was the big bad.
Yeah,
but he seems more soldier-esque, like
level. Yeah,
like he's working for somebody,
right?
He doesn't really strike me as the guy that made the Dark Troopers. I don't really see that being his creation. I see that as him commanding it, but he's being commanded, which, like you said, maybe it's Thrawn.
Maybe
we want Thrawn.
Yeah,
Hashtag we want Thrawn.
They dropped that name for a reason, so yeah, maybe we'll get him.
And then lastly, what or who didn't we see this season that you thought we would.
Well, I mean, I'm on record as saying, Joris Kaboth, of course, multiple times, but that's a pipe dream, I guess.
Well, Thrawn was brought up in Luke Skywalker show,
Yeah.
and the Dark Troopers are there, so it's not totally a pipe dream.
Yeah, it'd just be cool because that guy's just like a crazy character, and it'd be cool to see. I mentioned this before in a text or something. It'd be cool to see a Jedi that's off his rocker.
Mm-hmm. Just to bring that up, since you brought that up, I forgot. Listening to the audio version of Heir to the Empire, they call him Jorius Sabayoth.
Oh, I don't like
I'm
that.
I kind of like the way you say it better, right?
Yeah,
Joris Kaboth.
Joris Kaboth, man. That's the way I say it in my head.
Yeah, that's how I always heard it too.
It's too much. That's too many syllables.
I don't know where they get the Jorius from, but it was
there's a U in there. Yeah, Jorius Seabath. That's how they say it.
Sabayoth.
Oh,
Sabayoth. I don't know. I'll stick with how you say it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. We won't see him make the screen, but
I would never say never, man.
A boy can dream.
you got Favreau and Filoni, man. They've shown that they're not just reaching into the old Republic; they're reaching into the EU.
Yeah.
So you never know. For me, I don't really know if I had any expectations of what or who I wanted to see this season. I wanted to see the Armorer again, and we didn't see her, which was odd, I think. But no, I don't know. Nothing really. It's kind of funny because I was the one that wrote this thing, and I'm like, I couldn't come up with anything. I was hoping you would, and I like what you came up with. I guess, like I said, just for me, it would probably just be the Armorer.
Okay.
She went out with a bang last season, season 1.
Yeah.
Crushing stormtroopers.
It'd be good to see if any of those guys made it.
Yeah, because they all left their armor behind. And according to what Din said, if they all left their armor behind, I guess some of them could have gotten killed. Once you take that helmet off, you can never put it back on. So if all those people, or some of those people took their gear off to escape, are they just no longer walking the path of Mandalore? I mean,
yeah, maybe they saw the era of the ways of living in armor all their lives, and it's like, man, this is hard living. It's time to change with the times and be more like the Bo-Katan crew, where they take it on and off as they see fit.
Right.
I don't know. Din definitely changed. He took his helmet off. I mean, he's starting to do it more often. So he's seeing that it's not practical to keep your helmet on, 24/7. It's good to show some humanity.
Some of the things that Mayfeld was saying to him, you're kind of changing your rules as you figure out, I don't remember how he worded it. Basically, you're adjusting your rules to your needs is kind of what he was saying. You're taking off your helmet. You're not supposed to, but you're putting a stormtrooper helmet on. What's the rule here? Is it not take your helmet off at all, or put a different one on?
Questioning his beliefs.
Yeah,
and look, you're already. And he's kind of showing them that you're breaking the rules already. See what I mean? It's up for interpretation. So go with the flow and adjust to the situation, and that's another reason why that episode to me is getting higher grades, because I'm realizing all that I skipped over because I'm like, Bill Burgess does not belong in Star Wars, but he does. And
he definitely fit in more this episode, as because I'm kind of there with you, but the more I watched this episode, The Believer, I was like, he does kind of fit. He works. He didn't at first, but I thought some of the stuff he said in season 1 was funny. I wasn't a stormtrooper, wise. I won't swear, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This watching that episode a couple more times, I'm like, he does kind of fit. Who knows? Maybe he'll be one of the Rangers.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
They'll bring him back. They'll find him on that planet. Give him a job. Hey, I think it's it time for my final letter grade of the episode.
Oh, you never did do that, did you?
No.
All right, so.
All right. I've been struggling with this a lot, and I haven't felt right doing this, giving it a grade, because I don't know what I feel much conflict in me about this. Because I should be like through the roof, like A plussing it all over the board. But I'm not, and I still am not. And I watched it again, and I'm still not A plussing it through the roof. I think I'm just going to give this episode an A, just an A.
Just an A, like that's like it's terrible or something.
Exactly. Just an A, and for reasons for I don't think there was much of a struggle between the main characters for it being a final episode. Work their way through that. I'm not talking. Din had a harder road. I'm talking more about the four women. I mean, they just like annihilated all the stormtroopers. Didn't really come up against any like hard which I would like to see a little something like them struggle just a little bit, get pinned down or something. They just rolled right through. I guess the gun having problems was something, but I just think their path was like way too easy to get to the bridge, and maybe see one of them go down would have been cool. Maybe Casca Reeves going down.
Or at least injured or something.
Injured.
Not necessarily killed, but yeah, something.
Shoulder, something, yeah. Maybe Fennec Shan going down. I know she can't be, but, her taking a gut shot, like, it was just too easy for him. Din obviously didn't have that easy road coming across the Dark Trooper and setting up how powerful those things are.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then once Luke came into the picture, I mean, it's kind of like 2 episodes. It's like pre-Luke and, at Luke. So, they had to save it for the end, and then the whole kind of like technology not being there to kind of capture Luke the way I wanted to see him, like flawless. It was tough, I mean, I guess if it was just standing there, it'd be cool, but the fact that they had to have him do all the action, and it wasn't him, and it wasn't Mark Hamill, which they couldn't get Mark Hamill. So I don't know, my standards, like I'm just wild. I'm just like, I can't believe like I would want Mark Hamill to go in there and take out stormtroopers. Like, that's crazy of me, but you know what I mean?
Well, if George Lucas would have made this stuff, 30 years ago,
yeah, exactly,
we would have seen it that way. I blame George.
Yeah, blame that guy, because they're not. To me, my standards are way too high, I think, and I need to chill out. It's just a show. It's just a character, and I need to relax. But I think just an A is about right, because I mean, Luke Skywalker coming back is amazing, and like I said, the fact that it was 4 women, 1 guy going through there was great, and the visuals were awesome. The music was awesome. The send off was awesome. Din taking off his helmet was awesome. Moff Gideon was awesome. Like all his dialogue was great. Baby Yoda. I really felt Baby Yoda or Grogu, like his capturement. Like I really felt that he was hurting, and then happy to see Luke. Like whoever the puppet guy is amazing. Those people are awesome. Seeing R2 was great, and the X-wing coming in was cool. Seeing the X-wings, the TIE fighters go out of the ship was awesome.
Right,
seeing the guys in there.
Hey, on that note, I heard it was two other Star Wars podcasts brought up Battlestar Galactica and the Vipers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys like the show too. Well, one of them doesn't like the newer Battlestar with Katie Sackhoff. They like the original, which fine, whatever. But they all brought it up. I'm like, man, these guys are like talking about Battlestar like we do.
Totally.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, seeing the Slave One, take out those 2 TIE fighters was great. Coming up with a plan was awesome. The beginning with Alderaan and that whole exchange between Cara Dune and that pilot was good stuff. And finding out about the millions of lives lost on the on those Star Destroyers was pretty cool. And finding out what that tier was on Cara Dune's. I didn't know that was like a little rebel symbol.
Yeah. See, I knew it was a rebel symbol, but didn't he say it has like a more relation to Alderaan?
Yeah.
Like it was a tier for Alderaan or something like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was very cool. So I think all that was great. And, but like it wasn't through the roof as far as like, as a lot of people are taking it, or as far as the tragedy episode for me. So I think I might have given that one an A+. If I'm not mistaken. Or did I give the Ahsoka one an A+? I don't know.
I can't. Well, it was one. It might have been both, but I don't know if you've given a lot of A+. But yeah, I agree with you on that one. Well, I agree with you on a lot of that, obviously. But the one thing you said that the heroes didn't really, other than Dan, didn't really break a sweat.
Right.
And I like even just rewatching that episode last night. When he's getting punched in the helmet from the Dark Trooper, I'm still like, oh my gosh, like this dude is getting annihilated right now, and and everything he's throwing at it just isn't working. And I'm like, this is good storytelling here. This is the hero beaten down and just trying anything to overcome.
He's on his knees, right?
Yeah,
a lot on that episode.
And I mean, this is, I don't know how people would take it listening to it. It's not, it's not me saying, oh, the women are indestructible, but they didn't struggle at all, like you were saying. And I think that it was still it was really cool to watch. Like I loved watching all of them, do their thing, Fennec Shand just, when she peeks down and like picks off the one dude through that little hole in the wall.
Yeah.
And Bo-Katan and Koska Reeves working together with like the rope and the jetpack flying knee, and Cara Dune fixing her rifle, and she's like, excuse me. And I'm like, this is all BA. I loved it, but I think it still sold me. But hearing you talk about it, I'm like, yeah, something, there was no tragedy, there was no like struggle. Like in the tragedy, the Razor Crest gets blown up, baby Grogu gets taken away, and this one, it was all, I think they did a decent job writing it to where, my first and second time watching it, I was concerned about the characters, especially at the end with the Dark Troopers pounding on that door. But yeah, I think someone other than Din should have at least gotten hurt. They tried, I guess, Gideon was shooting at Katan, and I would have been really mad if they killed her. But if she had at least gotten like up and like had a couple of wounds or something, it would have been better than battle scars. Gotta have some kind of battle scars, I guess.
Yeah, right. So I think if they would have brought up the stakes on that part of the story, I think I would have liked it a little bit more. Maybe even Luke having a little bit of a struggle too. But I know he couldn't because he's Luke Skywalker. But maybe at least a slip or something. I don't know. I am not looking for a slip. But just be like, okay, which one of these hallways am I going to? Is it this one? I'm like, no. And then that would be making a joke and a mockery. We don't want Spaceballs here.
He opens the door and it's the bearded lady.
What are you, one of the freaks? Close the zoo.
I'm the bearded lady. So there you have it, Clone Army. 4's crushed the rescue by only giving it an A.
Yes. And
How
only
dare
getting an
he?
A. Yes. I am not this, I am not part of the what you call it, the majority. I am the minority. I gave it an A. Only an A.
That's funny. Honestly, dude, I thought you were gonna go way, way down.
No,
Really
no, it's still high. It's just not as high as it should be for some reason.
I mean,
You know?
hey, an A isn't that far from an A plus. I was thinking you were gonna be like, oh, like a B.
Yeah.
Just kind of the way you've been talking about it for the last week or so. That's my guess was you were going to go pretty low, but obviously you still like a lot about the episode, so
Yeah, I do.
Very cool.
It's just I like a lot about it. It's just not through the roof emotional for me, like a lot of people have had that reaction to.
Gotcha.
I had that reaction to Boba Fett and the Razor Crest going down, and Grogu getting captured, and I had it on that episode, and and Ahsoka, those two episodes, I had the emotional connection. So I don't know why, but
You don't really need to know why either.
Yeah.
That's how it is for you, and we all connect with things differently, which makes us unique, right?
Right.
So I don't know. Sometimes I think you sound like you're kind of bummed that you didn't get that same feeling, but don't be. I mean, you still loved this season, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely love to see
There's
it.
a
It's
ton
so
of stuff
sad
you love.
that it's gone. Yeah, it's done, and I
Mhm.
want more. And I loved doing a recap every week with you. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we got this opportunity to talk about it.
Mhm.
So this is great. We get to document it.
Right? Yeah, this is something we didn't do last season because we weren't recording then. But
Yeah.
kind of cool to be able to go through each week. And I don't know about you, man, but obviously, last Friday was Christmas, so it was something to look forward to. But
Yeah.
it wasn't the same as the Fridays before, where I'm like, oh man, I get to get home, I get to watch this episode, then I get to talk about it with fours, and last week I was just like, oh, well, guess there's no more Mando.
Yeah. That's when I watched the gallery. So
Nice.
yeah, it kind of helped me a little bit get through that downer of a feeling.
Right. You know what I watched on? Was it Christmas Eve? I think it was Christmas Day. I watched Return of the Jedi.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was feeling some Return of the Jedi. Still love that movie.
You know what we need to do? Not to tease a future episode, but we need to talk about that Rogue One.
Oh yeah, there is a Rogue One out there, isn't there?
Yeah, we haven't touched on that subject at all.
Yeah. And as a little tease of whenever we do, I hated that movie the first time I saw it.
Whoa.
Yes.
Well, I guess I could see that.
But that's all I want to say. I don't want to. So, everybody out there listening, thank you. And I doubt this is the last time we'll be talking about season 2. It's definitely not the last time we're talking about The Mandalorian.
Right. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for listening. And we appreciate everyone listening on these Mando shows. We're coming at you fast. We did a couple of shows in between, and we're seeing the numbers, and it look great. And everyone's hopefully enjoying what they're listening to, or else they wouldn't listen to it again. We implore you to interact with us on other channels. So we've got a Twitter account that you could just drop in and say hi. It's at Clone Army Radio on Twitter. It's not hard to find. You'll see the familiar logo, and you'll know you're on the right spot. We're putting content on there. Asking little questions, saying little things. Go ahead and interact. And we're not gonna bite your head off or anything. We're just looking for more interactions with you guys, because we know you're out there. or you can email us at clonearmyradio@gmail.com. Or we have an Instagram, whatever channel that you like using. Go ahead and say you agree with us or disagree with us, or said we did something wrong, or anything you want. So have a good week.
Very cool. So, one more thing to add to all of that is just a quick shout out to the Wampa's Lair podcast. They did a show about Christmas memories, and I had sent them a message, and they played my message on there. They complimented my radio voice, and it was a lot of fun to listen to. So if you guys listen to us, thank you. Thanks for playing the message. That was cool. And other than that, I guess we're going to be coming back at all of you like we've been for most of this year, or this past year, since we're in a new year now. And we will catch you guys next week.
Yeah, Happy New Year. And may the Schwartz be with you.
May the Schwartz be with yous. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Clone Army Radio. Email us with thoughts or questions at clonearmyradio@gmail.com. Please remember to click subscribe so you don't miss the newest episodes.
Do it, Admiral Piet.